Okay, so let's talk about the 28 Days Later saga. This wasn't just a series that redefined horror for the 21st century. No, it did something more. It created this terrifyingly plausible myth, one that's still evolving today. I mean, look at this quote. An existential thriller, relatable to real-world anxieties. From the very beginning, you can tell this was never going to be just another zombie flick. It tapped into something real, a modern dread. This deep-seated fear about how fragile our whole world really is. So, how did a story that, on the surface, is about fast zombies become this profound myth about our future? Well, to really get it, to understand its power, we've got to go back to the start. We need to trace how its core ideas, about science, about us, about survival, how they grew and mutated, just like the virus itself. Okay, first up, the rage virus is born. See, this whole thing didn't start with some supernatural curse or voodoo magic. Nope, it kicked off with a scientific nightmare that felt terrifyingly plausible, because it was basically ripped straight from the headlines. The first film just completely blew up the old rules. You had your classic zombies, slow, shambling undead. But here, no way. We got the infected. These are living people, just consumed by a virus that makes them insanely fast, strong, and agile. The threat isn't some slow-moving horde you can just walk away from. It's a lightning-fast predator that can outrun you. And get this. This whole idea wasn't just pulled out of thin air. It came directly from real headlines in the UK at the time. You had the massive panic over mad cow disease, which showed everyone just how easily a disease could jump from animals to humans. And then the Porton Down scandal broke, revealing that the government was secretly testing biological weapons on its own soldiers. The movie just took those anxieties and rolled them into one potent virus. And Danny Boyle, the director, he said it himself. The motivation was this fear of science, inventing our own extinction. That's it, right there. The story was fueled by this deep-seated fear that we could get too smart for our own good, that we could literally engineer our own end. The rage virus is just that fear, made real and given teeth. All right, so we've got the virus, but as the story goes on, you start to realize something. The virus, it isn't the only monster here. It might not even be the worst one. The true horror, the thing that really gets under your skin, is us, humanity itself.
And this is what makes the whole thing so brilliant, right? The conflict isn't a simple us versus them, humans versus infected. No, it's way deeper. It's an internal battle for the soul of our species, a civil war raging inside every single one of us.
And you see this conflict everywhere. You've got what you could call the civilized human. That's Jim and his little found family, right? They're all about cooperation, morality, empathy. But then you have the natural human, all aggression, instinct, dominance. The soldiers in the mansion are a perfect example. And the infected? They're just that second part, that primal side, with the dial turned all the way up to 11, completely unleashed. So the main character, Jim, is almost like this mythic hero on apocalyptic Odysseus. Think about it. He wakes up like a modern Adam into a world that's already fallen apart. He's this innocent figure dropped into total chaos, and his entire journey is about finding his way through it. And, crucially, having to find his own capacity for rage to protect the people he now loves. And while all this is happening, every single institution you're supposed to trust just collapses. The government? Gone. Completely abandons the island. The military we meet in the first film? They become predators, turning this lawless world into their own sick playground. And then in the sequel, the NATO forces who are supposed to be the saviors, they get complacent and end up bombing their own safe zones, killing the very people they're there to protect. Total system failure. But here's the thing. The threat doesn't just stay the same. As humans are struggling to adapt and survive, so is the virus. And across the years, the infection itself starts to evolve, to change into something, well, something new and frankly a whole lot scarier. So let's track this evolution. It starts with 28 days. This is the big shock. The complete, crazy fast collapse of everything. The survivors we're with are just trying to wrap their heads around this new reality. A world now ruled by pure, blind rage. It sets the stage, asking that terrifying question, what happens when your entire world just
disappears in under a month.
Next, we jump to 28 weeks. Now we see an attempt to put the pieces back together. It's fragile, it's institutional. The military rolls in, setting up safe zones, creating protocols, trying to force order back onto the world. And it fails. It fails catastrophically. It's this brutal lesson that the old way of doing things is just not equipped to handle this new reality. And that brings us to 28 years. It's a huge leap forward. Almost 3 decades have passed. Humanity has somehow managed to hang on. But guess what? So has the virus. It didn't die out. It survived, it adapted, and it mutated into a whole new kind of threat. Maybe even a smarter one. And now a new generation has to deal with this legacy of rage. And this is where we get the alphas. These aren't just the same frenzied, sprinting infected from the first film. Oh no. These are the apex predators of this new world. They're huge, they're smart, they're super strong, and they're pack leaders. They've turned what was once a chaotic mob into an organized, terrifying hunting force. So in this new world, with these new evolved threats, the saga throws its most profound idea at us, a really challenging concept that makes you question the very nature of what it means to be human, to be alive. So picture this absolutely pivotal scene. An infected woman is giving birth. And in that moment, something totally incredible happens. The rage, the virus that consumes everything, it's put on pause. It's momentarily beaten by a force that's even older, even more powerful, the maternal instinct to protect her baby. So you're probably asking, how is that even possible? Well, it all comes down to what a character calls the miracle of the placenta. Apparently, this biological barrier, the placenta, can actually filter out the virus. It means a new life can be born completely pure, totally uninfected. It's this tiny symbol of hope, born from a mother who is literally the embodiment of rage. And that just opens up this mind-blowing possibility, doesn't it? A new humanity. What if these children of rage, born to infected parents, what if they could build a totally new kind of society? A society that doesn't just try to kill the virus, but learns to coexist with it. A new kind of human that we can't even really comprehend. Ultimately, this brings the whole saga back to a really classic philosophical conflict. You've got the Apolline versus the Dionysian, order versus chaos. The world before the virus was Apolline. It was all about reason, civilization, science, control. The rage virus is the exact opposite. It's a violent explosion of the Dionysian. Instinct, primal rage, pure chaos. And the big question the saga leaves us with is, can those two forces ever find a balance? Can they coexist? Which leads us to the core, unsettling question of this whole thing. The saga shows that our most powerful instincts, rage and empathy, are in a constant war with each other, a battle for who we are. So which one wins? Which one truly defines us as a species? Because in the end, that's the real horror, isn't it? The real question isn't about who they are. It's about what we could become under the right pressure. And that's the terrifying, thought-provoking mirror that the 28 Days Later saga holds up to all of us. The infected aren't some alien monster. They're a reflection of something buried deep inside us all, just waiting for the right circumstances to break free.